Woo woo!
FTR week.
FTR baby. FTR.
On a short week.
Nice,
Family,
guys. Nice.
trust, respect. Charge!
There we go.
Let's go.
Well, guys, this is the Chargers organization as we know it right now. Bolt fam, Justin Herbert's Lambo, just sitting in a crap heap of an organization at the moment, right? We're a little frustrated with him.
Yeah.
But it is Raiders week. I mean, look at these clowns. How does Raiders fan change a light bulb? They don't. They just talk about how good the Olin was.
That's exactly it. Oh my God.
I think it's perfect, guys. That is absolutely perfect. That is perfect. But unfortunately, as we know, folks, Justin Herbert's out for the season. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. So, guys, let's get into it.
Let's go.
I'm Dale Henley. You watching the Boat Bros podcast? Let's do it!
All right. So, kind of an early show for us, but worked out good for us because we are going to be playing tomorrow night, as we all know.
Yes,
and looks like Eddie got his hat, Kyle. So that's exciting.
I saw that. I was super excited. So, and you know what? We're gonna run that again. I got another hat to give away, and I'm gonna add a little bit this time too, so people can put the Madden score prediction inside of the video tonight. And they can do the actual game prediction, and I'll do another giveaway for that one too. So, and then we'll get out there. You know, in the spirit of Christmas. You know, let's do this.
Good. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Guys, we're going to talk a lot about statistics. You know where we're at, but it's just unfortunate seeing Justin Herbert out the way he is. Just, my God. By the way, the offensive line was horrible. I've been rewatching all the footage. I am legitimately shocked at how crappy the offensive line play. It's almost like they forgot how to block or do anything. It was embarrassing, folks.
Right.
So again, shorts are coming out.
You know, it's wild. One play that I saw is Jamari just seemed like he was completely reading blocks incorrectly. Like the middle of the line was just a mess. I mean, once again, that goes with the whole idea of not having Corey Linsley out there.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's having a cornerstone to your offensive line is through the center, and then it kind of goes out from there. And if you don't have that centerpiece, I mean, it's confusion. It's mass confusion on this O-line.
Confusion.
Yeah.
Well, Stick is our guy. He looks like my old college buddy D. You think that, James? Does he look like D?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks exactly like my buddy D. I'm like, damn, dude. I was like, who's this guy? I was like, oh my God, he looks like my buddy D. So,
funny.
Anyways, really interesting. And, guys, look, we saw some good things, but some bad things from him. I just hope to God he could stay upright and holy shit, not run for his life the entire game. I mean, guys, I'm not joking. Our offensive line last game was
so bad.
Joke. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. Exactly.
Shock.
So in Stick, we trust, folks. In Stick, we trust.
And the thing that's great about Stick, though, is and I feel like they've been kind of playing Justin Herbert wrong. Get him a little bit more play action, get him out of the pocket, get him away from where the weakness is at. I mean, that's really what it should be. And that's the idea that they should be using Easton Stick with, too. Easton Stick has some wheels. Like, if you go back to some of the preseason games, I remember LaDainian Tomlinson just saying, this guy's got something. He's got something to him. I mean, the guy was a winner at North Dakota State. I mean, the guy lost only 3 games there.
3 games the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, too, even that bomb that he threw to Quentin Johnston showed his arm strength, too. Like, awesome. Play him outside of the line, put him on a bootleg situation, a play action type situation. Quit doing this kind of read or RPO type situation. Don't put him in these situations where he could just get obliterated behind the line. I mean,
Right.
I think it was the last sack of the game that pretty much clinched it. And, they basically, Denver Broncos toyed with us at some point where they basically had a corner blitz, safety blitz. They left Quentin Johnson wide open to the left. Could have just dumped it off to him and it could have been a touchdown. They were just toying with him. They were like, they don't believe that Easton Stick was going to be able to see his reads. And it was sad to see. It was sad to see.
Yeah, and bottom line, we just didn't look good. It's such a sad year for us. I mean, in general, just because like we've not even hit any form of stride. And again, I think that's coaching. I mean, look at the Broncos now. The Broncos are there. Now, I will say this. Matt Money Smith did bring something up. He said, a big part of that's also the players taking ownership of the team. And you got to ask yourself this question. Do we have dogs in this team to step up and go for it? And I guess that's the one argument against Justin Herbert is that he's a bit of a passive guy. He's not that dog. He's not Tom Brady. He's not going to slap his center in the face and say, hey, butthole, protect me or whatever,
Yeah, right.
That's such a funny word, right? Say butthole. It just sounds hilarious, like childish and weird. But here's here's my point.
It's a little bit more like cutting. You're like, why would you just call me a butthole? Like, I mean,
why would you call me a butthole?
Yeah.
But again, we have to see what this team is doing. And guys, what do you think, Bull Bros? What do you think in the chat, guys? I mean, do we have dogs? Do we have real leaders on this team, man? And sometimes I just go, God, I don't know. I mean, look at the way the Broncos played yesterday, or yesterday on Sunday, man. They played with authority.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing that I'll say about just Justin Herbert, I feel like he's more of a guy of action speaks louder than words. And I feel like if you look on the defense, I mean, Derwin James is relatively a vocal guy, but I kind of really said just who's really had a good year is Khalil Mack. He's an action speaks louder than words kind of guy too.
Big guy. Yep.
Like he's not that guy to be like, hey, look, I'm going to jump all over this guy, or at least he doesn't seem like it about doing something wrong or whatnot. I feel like we need to have guys who are just straight up dogs that just will just get on you, like a Troy Polamalu kind of guy, or I don't know, Ray Lewis kind of guy. Like we need a guy to just speak up and just light fires under people versus like, okay, well, we screwed up that play, next play, guys, kind of thing. Like it's been a very, very passive kind of feeling team this year.
Yeah.
Right.
It has been. It just never came. It never came together. It just never came together. And that's the shitty part about it. And I don't know. It's tough. I remember, was it Keenan Allen who said it? I can't remember who said it when Anthony Lynn was let go. He's like, look, man, they're not out there making plays. We're the players. We didn't make the plays. They're never going to throw their coaches underneath the bus, but there's something culturally wrong, right? And that needs to be changing. We got a bunch of videos we were going to show. We're probably not going to have time to do it. Maybe we'll do it at another time, maybe sometime next week or something like that. Right. But there's a lot to discuss. I mean, lack of leadership. Yeah, right. Good point here, Aether. GM down. I mean, look, it starts from the water cooler guy, dude. Tom Telesco. I'm not a fan of him. I mean, I think it's time to move on.
Well, what about, not just Tom Telesco, though, also John Spanos, the president of the football operations and stuff. He's the guy that really picks the head coach himself.
Yeah. So they're not going to fire him. He's the owner.
I mean, no, John Spanos. So he's part of the family. He's part of the family. The Tommy DeVito thing here. But but yeah, I mean, he could always step away from that. I mean, it's not like he's going to be hurting for money still. And that's really a big situation there too. I mean,
I'd love to agree with you that could happen, but I don't see them ever saying, sorry, I'm not going to do this anymore. That's just not going to happen.
To Kyle's point, though, like I looked at other organizations that, like, say the Yorks for the Niners. There's a lot of people that are within the Yorks family that are a part of the Niners organization, but they're not in the key. Okay, excuse me. They're owners, but they're chairmen, but they're not like president of players, president of whatever it is. They're not in those positions of making choices of employees and whatnot. They're just, as a chairman, obviously they make decisions to that level, but they also have executives that are actually kind of managing the day-to-day operations versus Spanos have like a very hands-on kind of situation. In my mind, I always think it's like a family running a pizza shop or something like that. And they want to have kind of thing. Like,
that's the right way to say it.
No, are you saying like the Chargers organization is ran like Olive Garden?
Yeah, it's Olive Garden, baby.
Yeah.
Want
to hear your family, It's like,
yeah.
Oh
right.
my goodness. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Getting a little bit more, in my opinion, let them be a little bit more hands off on the team and let executives run the team, basically.
Right.
I think is what Kyle's trying to say.
Yes.
They are the money people. They are the people that make the executive decision, but let the daily be with somebody that knows the job and knows how to run a football team. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that makes sense too. It's tough, right? It's kind of like saying, "Hey, Jeff Bezos, don't be involved in Amazon anymore." Like that's his baby, and it is kind of is what it is, But
I mean, he did kind of step away, though. I mean, he did hand off a lot of the day to day to somebody else. So
but he's still involved, right? And he's still going to make the decision. So,
yeah.
But again, I think it all stems. I think there's three major injuries that we can honestly say that really destroyed the season. Corey Lindsey being the number one, and because that offensive line has been hot dog shit. I mean, literally. And the weird thing is, Justin Herbert had to run for his life every goddamn game, and it's absolutely freaking. I watched all the videos. I've watched all 22 footage, and I'm like, oh my God, he had to run every time. Whoa, something's happening. And yet he could still make a good throw. That's where I think Easton Stick is going to struggle, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on in Justin Herbert's head every single time?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, honestly, maybe he's tired of it, Mike. And I'm like, Mike, and then Mike is also, Mike going out as well too, huge. Yeah. And then Palmer being out is huge, and so at no point did he ever have in these past few years a healthy wide receiver group. And then the offensive line play has been garbage. So he hasn't had weapons around him. So I don't know. It's tough, man. And again, this is a really good point, right? Morgan Fox, Rumpf, Matlock, Bosa, Williams. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. And again, I kind of want to see some like Deion Henley. I'd like to see some of these younger players get out there, McFadden, a few other folks. So
that's the thing. This is the time that you should be doing that. I mean, at this point, you have a 3% chance to get to the playoffs. It's almost even comical to even talk about at this point. Because, I mean, you can't expect Easton Stick to go out there and win the next four. I mean, it's going to be safe to say this would probably be the one game you're going to win this week or this year as a starter, in my opinion. That's probably the best. I mean, I think the Raiders are slated -3 right now, so they're a favorite in this game. Obviously, because I think Justin Herbert is gone now.
Well, and they're playing in Vegas too, right?
And playing in Vegas, and I don't think we've had much luck there at all.
No.
So for some weird reason, the Toilet Bowl Stadium, for some reason, we cannot win there.
The Roomba,
the DJ Roomba, stadium. But it's something that we got to look at our youth at this point. Like you got to see Deion Henley out there. You got to start just pushing those guys out there. You got to know who they are, and I am to an extent excited to see how Easton Stick prepares and plays this week. Raiders came off a 3-0 loss. Like they don't even know what their quarterback is next week, by the way, too. So this Thursday. So who knows?
So here's the playoff projection, or not playoff project, the projection of wins. They're officially saying we're going to win one more game, period, and we're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that would give us the 6th pick in the draft currently.
Jeez.
I mean, what a shit show, dude. I mean, come on. It's just frustrating,
it's painful, really.
It's painful.
I mean, it's like when we really started the season, we all had super high expectations and high hopes.
Yeah.
Because on paper we were the freaking stellar lights out team,
Yep. Yeah, we were definitely a paper team, right?
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, a lot of people talk about him. By the way, should we start Dugan over Stick? I think the answer is no. I mean, no. I will say this: he's brought up. Well, we got Dugan right here. He is brought up, so he is on the team. I would like to see him out there a little bit. Probably won't start him at any. I mean, oh my God, what if Easton Stick gets hurt? Holy shit, man! Come on. I just be like, oh my God.
Are we gonna have Austin Eckler going in as a quarterback? Now, or actually, no, we can have Stone Smart going because he was a quarterback in college, right? Yeah. So he's a tight end. So whatever.
Yeah. Seriously. Maybe it is Stone Smart, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, Stone Smart was a quarterback. Yeah, he was. Right.
Yeah.
So now again, it's been so weird, man. Mike Davis, man, it's so strange. It's just inconsistent, and there's so much we can unpack here, guys. Again, so we'll see how this plays. There's a couple more slides we're going to show here. Let's look at Easton Stick, his production. We're going to talk more about it. We're probably gonna have a lot of videos talking about who we should keep, who we should retain, who we should let go. So we'll kind of go into all that with you guys. But Stick had, an interesting game. I mean, I love this deep pass, 50 yards. I mean, obviously Stick is working on it. By the way, one thing he said, he did work on his footwork a lot. And I have noticed his footwork has actually looked pretty good. So I think that's some of the things that he has needed to improve. I think he was okay coming out of college, but he looks a lot better now. So I'll be watching that in the game for sure. I suspect he's going to run a lot. So I think there's going to be some RPOs. I think that's going to happen. So anyways,
he did work behind basically two really good quarterbacks. I mean, he even said in his interview, he's like, look, man, I was behind Phillip Rivers. And I'm behind Justin Herbert. I've been behind two really good quarterbacks, and this franchise has had a stroke of luck with quarterbacks.
Yeah. And,
that's a great thing to be able to have. I mean, if you could have consistency and transition from one quarterback to another that you've had for a franchisee or franchise-based quarterback, I mean, that's a luxury in a sense, to be able to have that. Because there's not a lot of teams out there that have done it. Steelers right now, they're trying to figure it out still. Obviously, with the Patriots, I mean, Tom Brady to anybody else is going to be difficult to be able to stay to that level.
Yeah. I detected sarcasm here from Aether, so that's good.
Okay, I hope. I was bro.
He's not. And I've
really?
chatted about this, and I was like,
no way. Are you serious?
Bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know he's talking more in the sense of like, he feels like Dean Spanos is spending money right now, which, yes,
that's
totally
good.
is. And that is something that you could really look at Dean Spanos and say, okay, sure, yeah. He's spending a lot of money on players. He's spending money on a new facility. Like, cool. But at the same side, you got to spend money at the right level.
Right.
Too.
You got to spend money and management too. You can't just spend it on players.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Aether literally was the only person that will probably say that. But I understand his logic.
Yeah.
Where he's at. Like, this
he's fine to spend money
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, the argument is now these older players are not performing, and it's better to have some of these. I mean, look at the damn Rams, dude. The Rams had 35 starting rookies, right? Yep. And they almost beat the damn Ravens, man. And I'm like, oh my God. And Olive Garden is awesome. Oh my goodness. Oh,
breadsticks and salad. That's all you need.
The OG, huh? I guess it's better than what's that place you went to? Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, come on. Cracker Barrel way better.
Cracker Barrel, dude.
Hey, I don't know, man. Yeah.
We are going to talk about special teams quite a bit. We are going to talk about special teams.
Both restaurants are Boomer Town, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
Boomer Town.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good news is we're getting Palmer back. I think Staley said something like he's going to be in a limited capacity, something of that nature.
Hey, I mean, he's a stud regardless. I mean, I'm thinking if a lot of things happen, say Mike Williams ends up getting moved on to, being a cut this offseason, Palmer will slide right into that 2 position pretty easily. And I like Palmer, and I like his progression of where he's been and where he's going.
Yeah, I like this thought here by JS20. Yeah, let's start bringing some, let's bring some Deion Henley in there. Let's see some McFadden on the line.
Yep.
Pipkins looks like garbage, dude. Oh my God.
Good.
Oh, he looks bad, dude. I was like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
So I don't even. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Are we at a Sam Tevy level for a right tackle here now? Is that where we're at?
He looks so bad.
I mean, to his defense, I would say is that, I mean, he's dealt with so many problems with his knees, over the past couple of years,
sure,
off and on, getting hurt with that and stuff like that. So it's I mean, that's obviously going to be a recurring struggle for him, is that his knees are weak. Arms are what's the Eminem stuff? Knees weak, or my arms are heavy, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, Marvin Harrison Jr. would be sick. I mean, bro, that guy is something else. Dude, think of look, okay. All right. Marvin Harrison Jr. with Keenan Allen. Getting Keenan Allen to just train up Marvin Harrison Jr. for 1 year. I mean, the amount of footwork ability of Keenan Allen is just bananas, dude. You know, he's so good. So good. And just Herbert needs a guy that he's going to be consistent with. And I think QJ could be there. We're seeing flashes of brilliance, but there's obviously a disconnect there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that idea. Sure.
You know, I mean, the thing is that'd be a second year in a row going for a first round,
right?
You know, wide receiver.
And I mean, first round.
Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, Marvin Harrison Sr. was an absolute stud as a wide receiver, you know, and then bringing his kid in, which would be phenomenal. I mean, you really think about what we would have as a wide receiving core would be phenomenal to be able to have a Marvin Harrison Jr. with basically a Josh Palmer with a Keenan Allen, and then you even got Quentin Johnson and Darius Davis. Like that's a massive wide receiving core there. That's really putting a lot of emphasis on the wide receiving core. I don't see the Chargers going after that guy, but you know, maybe they're thinking past Keenan Allen too.
Well, and it depends on who the coaching staff and GM is as well, right? We don't even. I mean, at this point, we can sit back all day and play GM and coach, but we don't even know who that's going to be, right? So,
oh no, it is going to be us. I got the call the other day, didn't you? Didn't I tell you guys?
I like it. I like it.
The Spanos family, they actually called us and they said, "Hey, we want James as head coach, we want Andrew as general manager, and you want me as the ball boy." That's right.
Let's go. Hey, water boy over here. Dude.
I'm the water boy. I like that. I like that.
Water boy.
Water boy.
I like what Eddie's saying here. Trade Williams, Bosa, Khalil Mack. Dude, bro, guys, I'm kind of on board with that. As much as I wouldn't want to see Khalil Mack and these guys go. I mean, I don't know that you get a 6th round pick for SJD, but you might. I mean, he's a little younger, but I mean, a fire sale is not a bad idea. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that idea because I think this team needs to get young fast. It has to, and no matter what, I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know if there's a leadership problem. I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know. And I try and read as much as I can, but there's clearly something going wrong, right? And so it needs to change.
And it has gone wrong for the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I asked this question, right, guys, and Bolt Bros and obviously in the chat. Do you think the loss to the Jacksonville in the playoffs? Everyone said, "Well, it didn't come over. We put it behind us." I just kind of think that losing mentality just rolled over, and sometimes it just needs to be a wash. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that happened, or do you think that that's not a real thing? I don't know. What do you think? And what are your thoughts in the chat?
And that's the whole thing too. Like I've said before the season, I think we need to go in there with some sage and sage the locker room, sage the players, get those negative spirits out of there, dude.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, Phil Jackson used to do that all the time with the Lakers and the Bulls, dude. Like he'd do that to their players before they play. Just get the negative energy out of there.
Wallet and watch.
That's right, man. Come on, dude.
Get up in there, man.
Negative vibes out of here, dude.
Get the holy water, and shake it in there. Whatever you need to do,
Maybe we should go into SoFi Stadium one day and just light up some sage real quick, walk around the stadium, dude, and I don't know, do something like that. I don't know, or go to training camp. How about a training camp? It's outdoors,
I mean, make it happen. We could go instead of sage. We can fire up some blunts, stuff like that.
I like that idea. Yeah, I like that little devil's lettuce. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with little devil's lettuce.
I feel like though, there could be a lot of truth to that. The fact that Staley did say that he has thought about that Jacksonville game every single day since the loss. Yeah. So clearly something did transfer over from that year to this year.
Great point, Kyle. Great point. Yeah, he's talked about it a lot. Like I think about it every day. It almost, I agree. Aether VP, let's go. Oh, let's go. But I like the Bowers idea. By the way, our tight end blocking has been dog shit as well. It is bad, guys. Guys, I have watched all of the. It's so bad. By the way, there's a running play that we did against the Broncos. kind of made sense in a weird way. But you pulled Alex Erickson. He went in motion, and he's like the lead blocker. Yeah. Alex Erickson, he's like 180. I was like,
yeah.
What the hell is he doing out there, bro?
That ain't the dude. That ain't the right guy.
No.
I'm like, yo, that is the wrong personnel.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like, I was like, no, come on. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an error.
And guys, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. Again, we're just talking here, so throw your thoughts out as well. We'll try and get to it. And again, we're a little bit all over the map here, but that's kind of how we do things here with Bolt Bros. But again, you can't say enough about this guy right here, dude. He's like a fine wine. He gets better with age, just like Khalil Mack, you know. Ooh, pop that cork. Woo, woo, woo. Alan. By the way, wine is disgusting. Not a fan of wine. But anyways, I'll just say this.
Guys, you just got to get the better wine then, man. It's like,
yeah, I get that box wine, dude. Like,
a little bit. Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Box wine? Dang, that's the kind of wine you're drinking? Bro.
Yeah. I'm totally joking.
That's the bottom shelf stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but you cannot diminish what he and Khalil Mack are doing. We'll talk more about Mack a little later as well, too. But yeah, and by the way, I do think Corey Linsley's not going to come back. I don't think he's coming back at all. I think he's done. Yeah, he's done. I think his heart is a bad issue, obviously.
I wouldn't be surprised if he retires, and it would be kind of cool if they, and I mean, depending on whatever happens with the coaching staff next time around, but I think it'd be kind of cool if we even put him as like an O-line coach. Like, cool. I think that would be really, really cool to be able to, because I mean, he's coaching the players right now. He's showing them like footage and everything too. It's not like he's doing anything right now. He's actually like being a coach right now. So that'd be awesome.
It's interesting. People talking about trading Jay Herbo. It's interesting. Think about this. Just think about this for a second. What would we get if we were to even trade him? Yeah. A top 5 quarterback in the league. Let's say we traded him. What the hell would you even get? 2 first-round picks, a first round this year, maybe a second round next year, or maybe a first round this year and a second round, and then maybe a first round next year. I mean, it would be huge. I mean, what did McCaffrey get? So, I mean, how many teams would even do that? That would just be a hard trade, anyways. I mean, but it's kind of a weird conversation. Yeah. Staley calls or plays like Belichick coming up with champ. Well, I'll tell you what, interesting.
Yeah. I wouldn't want Belichick as a GM, dude. I mean, I feel like he doesn't do very good drafting, period. Like, not
anymore, Yeah,
I can't even think of a draft pick that he's really even had that's been good outside of Tom Brady. And it's just one of those things that he got lucky with one of them, and then he basically just ran with that. And a lot of his players that he's had on his team are like, Randy Moss, to guys that you acquire basically on free agency.
From free agency.
Which, you understand what you're getting with those guys versus draft picks are complete like crapshoots.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I just think bottom line, what we've tried to do as a team has just not been we didn't play team offense or defense, nothing's worked out. Yep. By the way, I just want to show Darius Davis. I love this guy. I knew he'd be a good pick. Okay, just so you know, first in punt returns, 316 yards. First and longest return, 87 for a touchdown, obviously. First in yards, punt return. On average, 16.6. Crazy. First in punt, and he's the only one with a TD, by the way, this year. Special teams TD. He's the only one.
Wow.
Second in punt returns and over 20 yards for 5.
Phenomenal.
And, dude, he better make the Pro Bowl as a rookie. I just would love that, dude.
Special teams rookie of the year? Is that a thing?
Yeah, and by the way, we still should be using him a little more on the offense. I get a little frustrated about it,
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, top 5 pick could happen. I mean, good God, who knows? By the way, I want Everett back. What do you guys think? I want Everett. What do you think, bros?
Like Everett, as good as a pass catcher, don't put him in a blocking situation.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. He's almost like a one-dimensional guy right now. I will say, and I think I sent over to you guys a video of the Niners, and this play, it was McCaffrey's run with I think it was was it ASU wide receiver that's on there, one other wide receivers on the Niners, and the amount of blocking he stayed with McCaffrey on the run all the way to the end, dang near almost to the end zone. And we don't have that tenacity as a team to where we want to stay.
No.
Look, if a guy's running the ball, keep blocking people until the whistle goes. I feel like we let the guy just figure it out for himself.
Right.
versus like, hey, be that extra blocker to get that extra yards. I think it's frustrating. I want to say even my dream when I became head coach of the Chargers, I think I talked about that too, specifically.
I had a similar dream on that as well too, but I was defensive coordinator. That's what I was. So Staley was let go, and then I was hired as a defensive
business coordinator. Going on here now, you know?
Like, I say, I don't care. I want you to smack them in the mouth hard.
That's it.
Go for it,
dude.
Get nasty,
man. Let's go.
Man, oh man, oh man.
You know,
here we go.
I didn't have a dream like that though. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't in sync with you guys. So. But you know, it's funny thing. I remember seeing some of those all-ins that Anthony Lynn, he did always make an emphasis on that. It's like, look, if you want to play for me, you got to block. Doesn't matter like who you are. You know, you got to get in their face and you got to block. You know, for the play, and you got to commit to the play and stuff. And that was one good thing that he did. When he was with the team, is that was a big emphasis for him. It's like, I mean, as he was a running back himself, you know, back in the day, you know, like, you know, obviously he needed blockers, and that was a big thing. So, and like you guys are saying, like we've kind of lost that here.
Yep. Yeah. Play to the whistle, man. Play to the whistle. Like, it's frustrating to watch. There's so many times it just seems like the guys just stand there and watch what happens versus like be a part of it, try to make it better for that person.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's really frustrating. And it seems like that should be a coaching 101 thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it equates well for some coaches for some reason.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And it's not playing team offense or team defense, you know, and I mean, yeah, we could talk about that forever. Now, this is a good point by Achilles. Yeah, why am I drawing a blank? I'm having like a mental stroke here. Achilles Smith talking about Isaiah Spiller. Yeah, I think Spiller should get more touches, man. I mean, bottom line, I mean, Eckler's done, dude. Like I don't even know why they'd even run him at this point. You know, I mean, we're pretty much going to be. Let's see some production of some of these guys. Again, you know, if we only win 5 games, it'd be top 5 for sure. And Aether has a prediction. Maybe you want to do another little bet with Aether here. That Alex Hallaby will be the GM. Dude, hey, Telesco's got to go, dude. Like, bottom line, I just
have to.
You know, watch my video on that, man. He has been mediocre from beginning to end. It's time to move on. So
the thing about it is, like, getting a GM from, say, the Eagles. I mean, they're a pretty aggressive team. They pick up people during the season just to be able to boost up their team and whatever gaps they might have. They're basically an organization that's aggressive, that has a will to win. And versus like, feel like what Tom Telesco likes to do is say, okay, cool. We got our guys set going into training camp, and that's who we're going to run. And like, we don't look to try to add anything at all at that point. And, you know, you pick up some guys here and there off the waivers or whatnot and try to add a couple people here and there. But man, we got to do better about just trying to get that extra little, you know, momentum, extra guy to be able to get to that over the hump kind of situation. Like, it's bad, man. We got to do that. So you need a guy from an organization that's doing that.
Yeah. Yep. And, you know, actually, I did do a little bit of research on Alec Hallaby. Like, he's actually a really good choice. I feel like he's very analytics driven on, you know, picking players and things like that, you know, so good. Which is kind of, you know, obviously dangerous because we know what Brandon Staley has always been saying. Oh, I trust the analytics. And
it's like Moneyball in baseball, dude. You don't need home runs. You need base hits, dude. Like, you know, and it's a team sport, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So like he's I mean, obviously he's built a couple good teams here and there, like, and they actually got the Eagles to a Super Bowl like just a few years ago, you know, their first ever. So like, and I really like Alec Hallaby as a potential candidate for us.
That'd be
GM.
awesome.
Yeah, we need to change. I mean, bottom line, oh my God. And, you know, John Spanos, I know Water Cooler Boy and John are pals, but good Lord, like you've got to make some changes, man. So, so we'll see what happens. Some people are saying Roseman. Roseman, Philly. Yep. You know, it's tough, man. I mean, and again, there's so many videos we were going to bring up, and I'm like, maybe we'll do it some other time. Yeah, and again, I would like to see some Deion Henley as well, dude. You know, because look, dude, think about I think don't we have Kendricks for another year? If we do, trade him off. Let's try and get a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick, somebody, right? I would rather just let Deion be out there. Great. All right, we're trading him away. See ya. Yep. But let's look at the numbers real quick offensively. and then we'll switch to defense. We'll talk also about Brandon Staley as well. There's some things that came out. Well, we score more points, but that's also with Justin Herbert in the game. So we'll see what happens with that. And our running game is not good. So, it's it's going to be an interesting one, folks. I mean, there's a lot to look at. Red zone scoring, we'll see how that plays out. The one thing I will say, and I'll pass to you guys, that at least Easton Stick will run the offense like Kellen Moore wants. I keep going back to something Kellen Moore said a few times, that Justin Herbert makes the hard throw. But that's not necessarily how the play was designed, right? So there's plays that are designed for checkdowns. There's plays that are designed for just, a real shallow crosser or whatever, right? A rub route. Herbert makes the hard throw all the time. And it's like, dude, you can make it easier on yourself. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out with,
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, no, with Stick, how he does it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say. I've been pretty critical about Moore in general. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of him in a sense. I know some people are in there talking about, hey, like the Cowboys look better without Moore now, and that's a big thing too, for sure. And I mean, even to say with what Moore has done this year, I feel like there's a lot of play calls all around. So, one thing about the Raiders too, they don't even know who their quarterback's going to be, if it's Aiden O'Connell or Jimmy G or whomever. So there's a lot with that offense that seems unsure, but I mean, after a 3-0 loss, you have to start thinking, well, Aiden O'Connell ain't the dude, by the way.
Pretty bad. Yeah. And by the way, 9-8, I think we'll make the playoffs. So, I mean, if we win out,
a 33% chance if we make 9-8, which pretty tough.
The problem is if we get 9-8 to make the playoffs, look, the problem is that all these other teams have to lose in order for us to get there. Our destiny is not in our hands. No. So there's a whole lot of things that have to happen, and that's the worst position to be in for the playoffs,
I met a stripper named Destiny, and she was in my hands. So that's good. So the Chargers,
I'm out.
It just sounded funny the way he said it. Our destiny's not in our hands. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. If they win 3 keys to victory, oh boy. There's so many things to say.
Easton Stick needs to play like quality, no turnover type based football. O-line needs to actually look like a decent O-line, and we need a run game. We need a freaking run game. I think our defense in general is pretty good all around. So yeah, exactly, Dan.
Yeah.
Andrew's a little bit of a loose cannon here. Maybe we should just bump him out of the stream real quick. We'll take care of that.
Put him in the penalty box.
Penalty box, dude.
Relax. No, but honestly, again, I'd like to see QJ do well. I'd like to see what Stick does. I think we're going to see a lot of RPO. I think we'll see a lot of RPO, guys. It's going to be a lot of RPO. Yeah. And by the way, they are tailoring an offense around what Stick likes to do. Yep. He likes to run, so it'll be interesting.
This actually kind of brings to point too. I do remember that the couple of those years that Dak Prescott went down and they brought in whatever the heck his name was for the Cowboys, the backup, and and their offense was operating like really good still, So this could be, who knows, man? Like we were going back on it, it's like Easton Stick could ball out and you could play exactly how Kellen Moore wants him to play, and this could be interesting.
This would be interesting to see if Kellen Moore does do better with him. I mean, I'm not saying that they would be like, oh, well, let's move on from Justin Herbert, who's a top 5 guy or whatnot, but I mean, it's the same side. Maybe it will operate correctly this time. I don't know, but that's something that I definitely am looking forward to watching in this one. So
this is also an opportunity for these players to even commit to even being in the NFL anymore, right? Some of these guys, look, man, this is kind of it. Raiders Chan is discussing FTR, horrible. Destin, hey, Crust Roch, I like it. Yeah, I'll take my chance with Destin. Absolutely. Yes, there we go. Oh, crickets? Okay, got it.
Yeah, shit.
Well, and again, that's a great question. What if we do make it? And would Herbert play? I would say he probably wouldn't play because I mean he's getting surgery on his index finger. I think it's going to be in Stick we trust.
Yeah.
So
I mean, would you trust Stick to win a playoff game? I mean, think about that. What if something like that did happen? We got to the playoffs and we won a playoff game with Stick,
bro. That would be so. I would be so mad about that just because how much the Bolt fam's going to be like, oh, well, why are we paying Herbert $250 million?
Exactly.
You know, like, and then when we got Stick, we're paying him $500,000 a year, you know, like, it's like, oh gosh, like, serious money balls like that, you know.
What's funny is like, just to kind of give a comparison of fan bases, like the Browns fans are like saying, hey, let's give Deshaun Watson money to Joe Flacco now. And they just put Joe Flacco back down to the practice squad for some weird reason. I don't even understand why they did that, but that's really odd that they would do that and give him the ability to actually go anywhere if he wanted to go. So it's just, dude, it would be wild. It would be wild. But... oh man. This chat is getting out of hand.
Man.
All right. Well, let's talk about Staley really quick. There's been some comments about Staley and him keeping his job. So I wanted to at least throw this out there. I was going to post it on our page, but we'll just go through it real quick, guys. Ultimately, here, we'll just go through this. Okay, so the feeling around the league is that Staley needed to win in 23. They're sitting at 5-8 with Herbert out for the season. This just happened yesterday. Does not bode well. Okay. Again, if we lose to the Raiders, I think that's when you have an opportunity to potentially let him go. Again, there's 3 games left. Who knows if that even makes any sense? You know, anyways, 24 and 23 overall record is respectable. But the fact that we've had so many injuries, so many key injuries have gone down. And by the way, they said that there is no friction in the locker room, which is interesting. Yeah. It's a popular job for some very big name coaches, guys. I mean, look, Harbaugh has consistently said that he loves Herbert. So, you know, why would you even, you know, stick with someone like, you know, Brandon said? Now, again, you know, the Spanos factor, the cheap asses don't want to spend money on head coaches, but that's where the comment becomes kind of important, right? So,
well, and I even threw out chatting with Aether a little bit about this. You know, what if the whole Harbaugh contract that's coming from Michigan was just kind of like a ploy to throw it out through the media, communicating with all teams, NFL, college, saying, hey, this is my floor, guys. If you want me, this is what it is. He didn't sign the contract yet. And I mean, if I was Harbaugh, I wouldn't sign the contract yet. I would wait. And just see what happens with the college football, you know, playoffs. Let's see what happens.
That's what I would say too.
After the NFL season's good to go. Like, that's the thing. Let it just kind of figure itself out. I mean, people use the media for a lot of different ways just to kind of throw out a way to communicate, not directly, but just to the entire football, you know, organization in general, college and NFL. Just throwing it out there. That's maybe a thought.
Yeah. And so I believe Graziano is the he's a analyst for ESPN, I believe. Yes, my understanding all along.
Only one of the insiders. So
yeah. Is that Staley had to make the playoffs to survive. I agree with that 100%. In fact, I always said over and over again, if we did not make the playoffs, he's gone. Dude, you cannot lose in spectacular fashion in the playoffs last year and then have a crap year the next with a higher salary and salary cap hell next. See, that's my biggest gripe with Tom Telesco. It's not just on Staley. It's also on Tom Telesco, right? It's leadership from top to bottom, right? So that's why if you let Staley go, you better let Tom go as well, too. There's just no point.
Yeah, right.
His job is more likely than comes open, as we discussed, to become most popular opening in the league. It is. You got Herbert. That guy's a freaking stud. I mean, dude, teams would give their left nut to get him, dude.
You know, and the whole thing, too, is that, like, that's the next – the next hiring is key to Justin Herbert's career in general and legacy. Like, you got to think of the next 4 years because, I mean, the way that the Chargers are, it's every 3 to 4 years. And you can't have a missed hire upcoming after signing him to a $262 million contract. You need to nail this next hiring for sure to even make him have a legacy, or he's going to go right into that Phillip Rivers discussion.
Yep, 100%. And Aether, throw your question out. I don't think we know your question. You keep talking about some important comment. We don't see it. So
yeah, I know. We talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's a conversation you had with James privately, not in the chat. So throw it out in the chat. Yeah, but I love Vrabel, dude. Vrabel's a freaking stud muffin, dude. Oh my god, I love
Is
that.
Is he in the hot seat over there at Titans?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean,
no.
Well, I don't know. You never know, I suppose. But
I think if Vrabel went anywhere, it would go to New England. It would try to be able to bring his past players
back to New England. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Rex Ryan, he's been out of the NFL for 7-8 years, whatever it's been. No reason to bring him back. Don't resurrect that.
Yeah.
He's
very, very adamant about taking over Brandon Staley's job by talking smack about him all the time.
I think the last 2 hirings, he's like, "Oh, I want to coach the Chargers. I want to coach the Chargers." I don't even know if he's got interviews. Maybe he had one with McCoy, I want to say, but
yeah.
Well, so and let's talk about the defense, and we'll kind of talk more about some of and we could even talk about maybe head coaches we kind of like as well too if we have time. Yeah. I've definitely got some ideas on that. That Jags game, by the way. So you must have sat behind Aiden, King Aiden. We met that kid. He's a pretty cool little kid. Super.
Yeah, his whole family's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice family. Very, very cool. Yeah, Vegas's favorite. Oh God, don't even remind me, dude. I swear. Might be a 4 gummy game. I'm gonna come on here after the post game. I'll have like the eyes, super red eyes. I can't even see. Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is though, I've always said goal for every single year for the Chargers is to sweep the Raiders, and this is the chance that you could sweep them.
Yeah,
and
this is our Super Bowl right here, dude. Yeah,
this is a big game for us. Just for the Chargers in general, man. I miss the Marty days where we called it Raider Week, and we just beat the Raiders down every single time, dude.
Yeah.
That was such a good time.
That was good. That was a long stretch where we just smoked the Raiders constantly, man.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, you need a coach like that, right? You need a coach that has a little bit more of like, hey, I got a little bit more cojones to sit here and say, like, hey guys, like we're playing against a division team. Get up. Like, get up. You need to get up. We got blue chews for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
we got some blue chews. Yep.
Got to bolt the F up. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Take these pills.
I think it's important. Okay, here we go. So I guess the Raiders they have won more than the Chargers. Interesting. Okay, thank you, Grandizer. I like that. Nice statistic. Okay, here's Aether's big question. So go ahead and toss it out. Maybe James, you want to take it? We'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, lack of leadership goes back to the Jags game when Herbert was hurt. A good leader at GM and coach will tell Herbie, you not playing tonight. You sit. I don't care if we lose by 50. James, go ahead. Yeah. I mean, obviously that whole Jags game was a weird one because that was the game that you were at. Or Andrew and Kyle were at, and it was just getting straight smoked. But Herbert wanted to keep staying out on the field, which, as a leader, you kind of say, okay, like leader at a position, I should say, like Justin Herbert as a quarterback, you always want to be out there regardless of how bad you're getting beat down. But as a coach, you probably should say, hey guys, this one's a little bit out of hand right now. Bring in the next guys, let them do their thing. Let's just end this game and wrap up, go to the next one kind of thing. And that's what you should be doing. Protect your assets. Going back to even the Bronco game, the way they ended that season or ended that game. I mean, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, like a lot of those guys shouldn't have been out there playing. We had a wrapped up spot. We knew where we were going to be at. That game meant nothing. And guess what? Mike Williams get injured. He's out. That probably made the difference for the Jags game in the playoff last year for us.
Right.
So, right. You got to be right about it. And I'm glad that the organization said, hey, look, we're putting Herbert down for the season and be smart about it, guys. That's the right move. You got to know when to fold them. You know what I'm saying?
Know when to hold them.
Okay. All right. Both of you do not sing ever again. That's pretty horrible.
Let's go.
Yes. There we go. Cue the electricity sound. Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, but look, there's some things to build on, Thule. I think we need to get young guys. I really do. I think this old blood we got. If I'm the GM, guys, I come in, I wipe the slate clean, dude. Done. I mean, I would even consider Keenan Allen, trading him away, which was I understand it's not a very kind thought, but you could probably get a very good pick out of him. and clean up some salary cap, man. And at the end of the day, it sucks. This team culturally has struggled, and I don't, it just sucks, dude. It just sucks. Hey Dan, how we doing? Yep, the gambler. Yep, and that's very true, right? The only 2 San Diego Chargers left, Keenan Allen and Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa's gone for sure. I mean, that's not even a question. Well, I mean, who knows, right? But I would not think you're going to bring that guy back. I mean, sadly,
right?
Call him Raisin Bran Bosa.
Yeah, it's been quiet since he's gone. But I mean, the thing about it is, like, Khalil Mack, dude, you can't look at him and say, like, I mean, next year is like $35 million towards the salary cap.
Crazy money. I
mean, the thing about it is, what this guy has done this year is incredible. I think he's a phenomenal. Once again, he's an action speaks louder than words kind of player versus a verbal dude out there just barking orders at people. I think he likes talking a little bit on field, and I understand when you're out there, you're playing, you're just going off. That's just how it is, and you get all excited about the game and such. But we need to really have a guy that could be a little bit more of a general guy. And I think Khalil Mack would be awesome to be able to have back next year. I mean, you could extend a guy 1 year and kind of spread out the money a little bit too, because 2025, we got a lot of money available too. So I like that idea too with Mack. I mean, again, I think he'd be the one guy for sure. Well, the 2 guys I would want is Mack and Allen for sure. But again, there's value in both of those guys too. So if you trade them away, you could get a lot more. But again, who's going to be the GM? Man, I swear to God, it better not be Telesco, man. I don't know. It just sucks. Can't.
Yep. Dean Spano will show Aether Love. Halby, the new general. Harbaugh is Coach Jesse Minter, Michigan. DC will come. Harbaugh will stay as OC for the Chargers. And went, okay, there we go.
Let's go.
Look,
that'd be awesome. That's a nice prediction. I like that. I like the sound of that for sure.
Well, it'd be interesting, right? Or he could even, I'll be honest with you, that could happen. Hell, let's say this. Herbert don't look happy. What if Herbert decides to get a trade this offseason? Let's say he requests a trade. I mean, guys, at the end of the day, at some point, these guys want to win, right? They're out there putting their bodies. I mean, dude, broken middle finger. And then now a broken index finger. He had rib problems last season, all kinds of shoulder problems. I mean, dude, it's a violent sport. You know that. I know that. They all know it. And, there's a limited amount of time. So, I don't know. We'll see. But boy, I would really hate to see Allen go. I mean, you probably want to spread him out. Maybe Mack and Allen, if you could spread them out 1 more or 2 more years, just kind of spread the money a little bit. That would be good. Let's talk about the numbers for the defense here. Here's the numbers here. And then we'll go to your questions, guys. So keep throwing your questions out as well. So points allowed were right around the same. I mean, that's kind of crazy though. 18th to the 9th, it's just like barely any points, right? So it's kind of crazy.
But it's funny. I think our offense and defense are scoring about the same exact points right now. Am I correct on that? I think it's
no. The Raiders only score like 15 points.
No. I'm saying for us, Chargers. I think that's about the same exact points per game as our offense currently right now.
No, we're scoring 21 points. We're scoring 21 points. We already showed that. We already showed that number, James.
Yeah. So offense 21 and defense we're giving up 21.7. So we're doing this.
That's what's
literally the same. Yeah. Literally the same. So we're not winning. We're not losing. We're at 500, just like as an organization.
See, I think that's exactly the point, right? We cannot play complementary football. It's the offense is good, then the defense is bad. Defense is bad, offense is good.
Yep.
Dude, I am still beyond pissed off at how shitty our offensive line played. I mean, guys, I've been watching. It's like, whoa. It was like literally the Bolt Bros being on that line. I'm not even joking. They look slow as hell, like absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
And Herbert was just getting smacked around like a rag doll, dude. And I'm like, oh my God, guys, like it was so bad. It was embarrassing.
He brings up a great point about Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck got abused behind that line, and that basically just said, "Hey, man, you know what? I'm done. I'm ready to retire, and I can't do this anymore." The dude never looked back at that point.
Yeah,
and it's who knows what's in that contract and where he has like an out where he basically retires and gets a little bit of money or whatnot out of it or anything. But I mean, how many millions do you really need to survive? You know,
Right.
I mean, sometimes your life is bigger than basically the game.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, it's the same thing that's going on with Corey Linsley. His life is bigger than the game
Right.
right now. Like, what's not to say Justin Herbert decides to do something like that, walk away from the game? I mean, if he's not getting supported,
I can't see him walking away from it just yet, but I
he
can
loves the
see
game like crazy, which
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
But
I can see Joey Bosa or Mike Williams making that call because
Yeah.
neither, like, Bosa, he's been with the team. Well, he will be here with 8 years now, and he's only had 3 full seasons. Mike Williams has been here like about how long? Maybe 6 years, and he's only had like 2 full seasons.
yeah.
So like they just get hurt too often. So it's like, look, they're gonna be feeling that when they're our age. Like
Yep.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Matt could definitely request a trade. I mean, I don't think Keenan Allen will, but I mean, I don't know. Would you guys trade away Allen for a second round pick, or maybe a third and like a sixth, or something like that? I mean,
I would like to
guys,
figure out like what the
teams
trade
gotta get
how
younger.
how the trade values are calculated. Because I mean, Keenan Allen could probably get maybe a third, fourth, but like Mike Williams maybe a fifth, sixth. Joey Bosa maybe fourth, fifth. Like at the best because they're injuries or whatever like that. But I would love to like see if there's like some kind of statistic or way to find that out, like what trade values we can actually get out of these guys.
Yeah, and I think it also is the money too, right? Like how much
Sure.
cap are they going to take?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you take half of it and you give us a third or whatever, right? So, and by the way, I'm kind of good getting rid of Derwin James. I know that sounds pretty unpopular. As much as I love Derwin James, dude, he has not played great. Now, again, you could also make the argument. I mean, that's not going to be a conversation that Staley. See, here's the thing about Staley too. Staley would not make these changes. He won't. He would stick with his players and say, "Nope, I'm ride or dying with you." That's why you need to change, right? You can't just continue doing the same. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Didn't work. And it didn't work at all on both sides of the ball, right? And so the one person you got to keep healthy is Justin Herbert, and we've not done it for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, look at the teams that are competing. They have a good O-line and a good D-line. Exactly what Pure Mustard's saying here.
Yep.
So look at every team that's in the NFL competing every year. It's good offensive line play.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. There's so much that can be talked about that.
Well,
I mean,
that's
really.
the whole thing.
Probably got to add Michael Davis here too.
Mikey Davis. Yep.
I mean, his contract's done by the end of the year anyway. So
It is,
he's moving on any which way.
Getting $9 million this year, folks. $9 million bucks.
Yep. I mean, and that's the whole thing too. Like in going to this game and just focusing on this game ahead of us, like the Raiders are a little bit of a mess as an organization. They don't know who they're playing as a quarterback right now. Devontae Adams stormed off basically after the punt fest basically last week for the 3-0 loss.
Yeah.
Like that organization has been a mess. I mean, Devontae Adams, I wouldn't be surprised to be a guy that tries to get traded in the offseason too. He's probably over it. I mean, he came over because of Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not there anymore. He even talked about earlier this year he doesn't want to be with that organization anymore. It's really the whole thing about that team defensively. Max Crosby is an absolute stud, top 5 in sacks in this year. He's going to be a force against this O-line this week. If we don't do anything about that, Easton Stick's going to get destroyed. We have got to find a way to be able to get this O-line worked out. Best way to be able to get an O-line looking good, quick passes, roll them out of the pocket, dude. Quick passes, roll them out of the pocket. That's all you got to do.
And I never understood the whole 2-minute offense. Most of the time, most defenses just run they just run like, prevent defense. Okay, cool. Prevent. And like keep, 3 high safeties or cover 3 downfield. Yeah. And it's like, those 10, 15-yard outs are open all the time, right? You can just chip your way down the field. That's what it's unbelievable. Staley's defense is trash. James will be an all-pro under Harbaugh, I swear. Probably. But it's weird. James looks just all over the place to me. All right, so here's a good question from Grandizer. We want to take this one, Winnie Bros?
Yeah, I can take this one. Bull Bros, is your college prospect coverage really good? When you draft players, do you know the reasons why you draft them or draft them just because? I think that our scouts haven't been bad. Now, once again, you're going to say every single NFL organization, you got your guys out there, your coaches basically looking for all the draft prospects in whatever division it might be, the SEC, ACC, PAC, whatever it might be. I mean, they're all crapshoots, guys, but it is about finding the guys that fit your systems correctly too,
100%,
more than anything. And so, I think we've done fair. I think we've done better with Brandon Staley. I always kind of wonder how the conversation is between like Tom Telesco and say Anthony Lynn, or even to say Mike McCoy and Tom Telesco. Like, who's really making the shots here? Or is it just like they're just choosing somebody just because, I don't know, hey, he sounds like he's a pretty good player, let's go for it. I mean, all year they're basically looking at draft prospects. So, I mean,
well, a good example would be Darius Davis, right?
Yep.
He's number one punt returner in special teams in college. And they picked him because he's fast, great at special teams. He's a special teams weapon, and he can also play the offensive side of the ball, right? So he had a very specific purpose, and look what he's done.
Yep.
We have the number one special teams in the league. So, but the other thing is you also have to develop the talent, right? That's the other side of that conversation. So, and I think we've done a poor job of that for sure.
Yep.
And it looks like YDCF got his hat. So very cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Man.
he got it Monday too. Nice, cool. Well, I'll say as far as it goes for our scouting, our college prospects and stuff, I think the biggest problem that the Chargers have is that they want to get these character guys, like they want to have like these really nice players or whatever, like, things that, like they're good players, whatever, like that they're smart and whatever things. And that's good. Yes, I understand that. But you got to get some guys with some dog in them. You know what I'm saying? You got to get that. You got to get that aggressiveness. It's a testosterone high aggressive game. You got to like want people to get that contact, to get in their faces, and to get them, and hungry for a win. Not just to get the bag. But we want someone that's gonna like want to win, and you want that hunger. Because that's what. And I think that's kind of going back a little bit with Belichick, like why he keeps people from getting paid exactly what they want, because it keeps them hungry,
Yep.
Yeah, and Grandizer likes your beard there, Kyle. By the way, this is a good point.
Maybe I'll do maybe I'll do a shirt, and it'll be just my face, or like the beard will be like right here in this area, so like everyone can have the same beard as me. Yeah.
There you go. I like that. We still haven't done that "Make Bolts Great Again" hat too. We got to make that up.
Yeah. I got to make that up. Yeah,
that was like 2 months ago. Yeah, you said that last time, Kyle. Good.
Hey, I get distracted,
Hey, I got things to do. Yes, and Dan, he was a stretch. He was a reach. I think he was projected to go in the 5th round, but obviously he was picked up in the 4th. Yes, and it is looking like Belichick is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Again, who knows, right? Whatever, but like at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? So, a lot to be said about that. Again, I would love to see Khalil Mack hit his number. I really would. That'd be so sick.
It would be interesting to be able to see if he gets 100 career sacks officially, which I want to say he's at that point. Maybe he's like half sack away. But he always tends to do extremely well against the Raiders. I don't know if he gets up a little bit more for the game or whatnot, but he just tends to do a fantastic job versus the Raiders. So we kind of need him at this point. Yeah, he's at 99.5 sacks right now for his career.
Jeez.
So sick, dude.
Half sack.
He's gonna get 6 on the Thursday tomorrow night.
I mean, if he gets like 100 sacks in his career, which he said that's kind of his goal.
Yeah.
I mean, does he care to come back again? I don't know. Like, did he do what he needed to do?
He was saying before the start of this season that he
thought about retirement.
Yeah. So, but he did just like, obviously just give me one more, at least. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, this could be his swan song, baby.
Yeah.
Grandizers. I was reading this. I'm like looking at here, and then he said, "Oh, we're going to call the A team. That's what we need on our team."
Yeah,
right. LA's made us soft. We went to LA, and wearing designer jeans and playing like sissies, stupid little sissies.
Look at these two little sissies.
Yep. Who should our Bolts consider re-signing? The only one I would say, well, I like Everett personally. I think Everett's fine. His blocking's not great. I would like them to re-sign Everett personally, but
Alohi Gilman.
Oh, Gilman. Yeah, Gilman would be good too. Yeah, Gilman. Hey, to Aether's point, Gilman's played better than I thought he would. I mean, he still missed a lot of tackles. He still made some serious problems. But I mean, there was a couple times I'm like, oh my God, he took the wrong angle, missed a tackle bad. And you're like, oh God. But it is what it is. When will the Bolts start to drop weekly short vids around 10 minutes? Oh, yeah,
probably after the season. After the season, we'll start looking at it.
Yep. Yeah, it'll start happening. Yeah, and again, Brock Bowers like that idea. Brock Bowers is solid, dude.
Yep.
Everett. Dan says Everett's going to be gone. Man, I just want Telesco gone. Please. Everyone has to go. Everyone has to go. It just has to be done.
Yep.
And I do like Gilman. You're right. I do like Gilman. He's played way better than I expected. Here we go. Dan just said that.
Yep.
Yeah, and re-signing Kelly would be good too. I mean, again, you still got Isaiah Spiller. I think that's why it's important to see what Kelly and Spiller can do. Hell, I would just put Eck, you're on ice, bro, and just let Spiller and
Kelly run,
dude, and just let's see what we got, right? I mean, I'd like to see Jordan McFadden out there. I would like to see who's the other guy I would like to see out there? Matlock a little more. Yep. I'd like to see who's the other guy? There was one other person I was thinking I'd like to see. Well, obviously QJ a lot more. I think I'd like to feature him. By the way, I did a short video on against the Broncos. His little screen that they threw to him, and he just weaved up. His yards after catch was amazing, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you drafted him. Why haven't we been doing that forever? Yep. And I'm like, it's so aggravating to me. I'm just, it just so frustrates me. It just bothers me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're not utilizing his strengths by any means. And that's what's so frustrating. When he did that screen pass, I was like, exactly. That's the right way to play this dude. Come on.
Yeah. Yards after catch, dude. Yards after catch. I don't get it. And it's so, I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Because again, so I go back to what this consultant, this quarterback consultant told me on a plane. He said, look, it's about timing and rhythm 100% in the NFL. 5 yard out, 5 yard in, whatever, the slant. It's all about timing. So that's what you're going to see from Easton Stick. It's 5-step drop, throw, 5-step drop, throw, 5-step drop, throw. Remember when we saw Bajan in there for the Bears? That's exactly how he ran it. He ran it 100% to the book. Yep. So I'm curious to see if Easton Stick does that as well too. So anyways, fan clubs in Northern California, Kyle, do you know any?
I mean, there's definitely Die Hard Bolt Club in the Bay Area.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's one in like Stockton. There's one, I'm sure, in San Jose or something like that, so it's like there's some of them up there. I can do some digging and I can find some people for you.
Do a little search on Facebook too, just for Die Hard, like Bay Area. I think there's a Bay Area, I think is what they consider it as. Yeah. I don't know where they meet or anything like that, but Die Hard Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I will give you my thought on this in general. When we start talking about positions, to me, you want to get the best available player, and that's whoever's available, right? Who you think is the best available, who can start day one at, let's say you have number 10, right? So maybe that's a center, maybe that's an offensive lineman, or a defensive lineman, maybe that's a wide receiver, maybe that's somebody linebacker, maybe not a linebacker, but you get my point, right? So who is somebody that you think on your team can start day one in the NFL their first season? So to me, I would just say whoever's best on the board, that's who you go after, right? And then you fit around them. That's how I would look at it. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, bros?
Yeah. I mean, best player available. I've always felt that way. I mean, stack as much as talent as you possibly can. Make it a competition at that point. Even to say if you draft, say, another wide receiver or whatnot, and they're out playing pretty much some of your higher paid players, well, that kind of means that if you want to trade somebody off, you could get a little capital from that guy and make more draft capital for you. I think that's
trade back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm saying even during mid-season or something like that too.
Oh, sure.
Like you could trade off or before season kind of thing. So there's ways to be able to kind of work it. I kind of, as an initially thinking, if we got a top 10 pick, where would we pick? I mean, I know center is going to be a need. I know right tackle is going to be a need. I know that cornerback could be a need. I know that, running back's a need. I know that tight end's a need. Those are where we're going to be looking at. Those have to be in one of those kind of levels where we're going to draft somebody.
Yep.
In those positions, that is.
And I think Stick will just run the offense exactly how it's supposed to be run, right? Yep. We'll see. I mean, guys, we'll see. But I think we're 40 million over the cap next year, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, we're still so much over.
Even to say that point too about Stick and QJ connecting in training camp, QJ didn't have a lot of snaps with the ones. It was kind of a rare amount of snaps on the ones. He was with the twos a lot more than anything. Stick and QJ are basically like hand in hand, and they're kind of similar to Max Dugan in a sense.
Yep.
With Stick's arm, so he kind of knows how to work a little bit better with Stick. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stick gets a good 100-yard type game, has multiple catch kind of thing, possibly a multiple touchdown type game in the next 4 games.
Yeah. So Latu from UCLA, that guy's a savage, dude. Him with Thule. Woo! Of course. That's USC and UCLA, right? They don't like each other,
But now they're just Chargers if they're on the same team. It don't matter.
That's right. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of banter with that. Like we talked to Dayon about that.
Oh, Eric JS 20s in Fairfield. Hey, we grew up in Fairfield.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Hit us up. Yeah, we grew up in Fairfield. So yeah, Jelly Belly Factory, that whole area over there.
Yeah, I was telling him in the stream last time, I was like, hey man, send me some Jelly Bellies. I need a case flops. I need a case of them belly flops.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here we go. So Aether's score prediction. Okay, maybe let's throw out some score predictions as well. My prediction: Raiders 20. Ooh boy, 27. Chargers 17. Well, that's a good point.
It's going to be a low scoring game in my opinion. Regardless, like a 17-16 or something like that is kind of where I'm thinking.
Yeah, Dean Marlowe's played good, guys. Look, the thing about football to me, it's a team sport, right? The team has to play together. I watched a movie. I got a sneak peek. Sneak peek. The Boys in the Boat. I think it's called The Boys in the Boat, something like that. It's the Washington rowing team, like the JV rowing team that went to the Olympics and won. And they're like, no, the 8-man team, you row as one, right? And I thought a lot about that in football, and it's the same way in the NFL, right? The whole point is you all are working together synergistically, right, on the field, and that has not happened this season for the offense and the defense. You can maybe argue the offense maybe a little bit better, but the defense has been straight up god awful with Brandon Staley. So I asked myself this question: there's 2 ways of looking at it. One, you could say you got the wrong people, or you're not coaching them correctly. Which is it? Yep. Either way, it's still your fault, right? Yep. So, okay, great. Well, which is it? All right, well, there's the door. You didn't do a good enough job. Yep, so
for sure.
And that's the truth, man. I mean, it's sad to say. I think you're right. Stick could be interesting. I mean, and guys, I had this thought too. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant. What if Stick balls out and some team says, hey, I want him, they give him a 3rd or 4th round pick for him? Do we trade him away? Maybe so, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think he's only under a 1-year contract with us too. So,
I think he
talk to go anywhere.
One
else.
more year. I think he has 1 more year. I could be wrong.
No, I think this is his last year. Yeah. I think they
signed
okay. One. Yeah.
Well, crazy stat though too. This year we've had 54 different quarterbacks have started through 14 weeks of 2023.
It's
this
crazy.
Has been such a year of backup quarterbacks finding a way on squads. In contrast, last year there were 68 quarterbacks starting throughout the entire season. We almost are at a pace that we could pass that up in the next 4 weeks, give or take. But it's unbelievable how many backup quarterbacks, like once again, there was a point. Well, you could say the Browns, the Colts, the Jets. Let's see, who was another team? The Bengals. There's a huge amount of team right now in playoff contention with backup-based quarterbacks playing right now. It's unbelievable to see. This is the most I think I could really see where they've had their starting quarterback go down for a season-ending injury and having backup quarterbacks out there playing. I mean, it's sad. I mean, now it hit the Chargers too. So here it is.
Well, and I remember, I can't remember who I was listening to, but they talked about how the edge rushers are getting so much faster and bigger.
Oh yeah.
And that the left tackle, right tackle, they're just a bunch of fat chooches, right? They're just big fat guys that are slow and they can't really do anything, Yeah. So they don't do anything. They're just there. They get run over and whatever, right? There's not many Trent Williamses in the league anymore, right? Some of these really good, or Rashawn Slaters,
Yeah,
those guys are solid. But everyone else kind of sucks. I mean, Pipkins sucks. Like he's having a horrible year, right? So, oh man, he missed some block. I'm just like, you freaking moron, dude. I just couldn't even believe it. Wow.
That makes me realize too, is like, here's the biggest problem too, is that I was kind of concerned about at the very beginning of the season. And that's when they swapped Zion and Jamari Salyer's position on the guards.
Yeah.
So like they flipped them, and yeah, I know they're talented players and they can do what they need to do. They say that it's their natural position, but clearly not. Zion was great his rookie year at that right guard position.
Yeah, keep him there.
And Salyer apparently stepped up real good on that left tackle position. Keep him on the left. Who cares? But they decided to switch all of a sudden. It's just like, they have to learn these different moves and stuff like that. It was a bad call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And good point on this too. James and Kyle both thought we should have played our starters in the preseason. I was of the opinion not to. I think that needs to change next year. Again, we're not, we have no say in the matter. But my point is, it seemed like we just never got out to any form of rhythm in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so it's just been bad, right? So,
well, I mean, you can't expect basically like training camp practice on an offense is the same as being on field for a game.
Yep.
There's differences to that. And, I feel like we started out actually pretty good, against the Dolphins, but it was like that was our highest point of our season.
Yeah.
And it just faltered from that point. Like we have not gotten any better. I mean, literally right now, we're giving up the same amount of points as what we're scoring right now. We're at 0 positive on points right now.
Yeah. Was it 282 points scored, 282 points against, something like that?
Like
what
that.
happened last year too? It's the exact same thing as last year.
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
Stupid. It's stupid,
Perfectly
right?
balanced, as all things should be.
Well, and this brings up a really good point, right? Fullbacks are not they're not in vogue right now in the NFL. Maybe they come back. I know a lot of people, Xander Horvath, everyone likes Xander Horvath, but you're right. The nice thing about running game with a fullback like that is they can go out there, smack somebody, and maybe get to the second level and lead the way for the running back. And, Kellen Moore doesn't use fullbacks. It is what it is, right? He uses tight ends, but our tight ends have been god awful at blocking. So that's where, it's a really interesting conversation, right? And Lorenzo Neal, dude. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty hilarious. He's on the practice squad now, which is interesting.
Super weird. I don't understand that.
Yeah. And I think it'll be interesting to see, where it goes. These next 4 games are dress rehearsals for everybody in the NFL.
Yep.
Who's still got that dog in them, who doesn't, I think, I think Dugan will be fine, or Duggan, I should say. Duggan will be fine. He just needs more reps, right? And that's one thing Easton Stick kept saying is like, you cannot replace reps. You have to get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Starters play 3 quarters. Bros, our coach is dumb. Yep. It's a slap in the face of the entire Chargers fan base. Let's Staley around at this point. I know how you feel. Like, I just think bottom line that, just nothing worked out correctly this season. There's just a lot of things to be said about that. Go ahead, James. Maybe we can wrap up. I know we've been almost an hour and a half here.
We've been
That's what I was just going to say. Let's just wrap it up. I think we've kind of been getting long-winded on some of these things. But, the thing about it is these next 4 games should just be a rehearsal for our players is just my final thoughts. We got to make sure we find the right guys here. We got to get rhythm here on this team some level. Do I expect us to win much games at this point? No, not really. This is probably the only game that we could probably win, in my opinion. So, what you got to watch is see development from our players. I would love to just see a lot of our 2023 class, 2022 class get out there and just play them. Put out Spiller out there. Put out Dotson, in my opinion. Throw them out there a little bit more.
Yeah.
Adjust some people on the O-line.
Make it a preseason.
Essentially, this is what it should have been for preseason kind of thing. So, that's a thing. Like I'm looking forward to just kind of see progression from our players and seeing what we had, and let's go with it. I mean, I was kind of thinking about the other day about Anthony Lynn kind of saying that Tyrod Taylor was his guy regardless when he comes back. But then you had Justin Herbert who balled out against the Chiefs. He kept playing, but he kept saying Tyrod Taylor's my guy. Tyrod Taylor's my guy. Nope, He ain't your guy, dude. And sometimes I think about even to say Brandon Staley, he's like, no, this is my guy. I'm gonna just keep running with this guy. And so I think we need to find a way what we have, or we need to find out what we have right now.
Agreed. Yep. And the thing that concerns me about that though is if this coaching staff knows they're all going to be let go, do they care? Are they going to try? What are they going to do? Like, I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Right. Yes. And let's see Spiller a bunch. So I'll just say this, man. I want to see some of these younger players out there play. I'd like to see some Henley. I'd like to see a lot of these guys. McFadden, rotate some people. Hell, maybe take Pipkins out completely, put McFadden in, say, all right, buddy, like, you're done. We're going to sit you and try and trade him. You trade him away for something. He signed a contract for, I think we have for another year and a half or something like that, don't we?
Right.
Or not a year, maybe it's 2 years. So look, I just think at this point, you need to figure out what you got in your roster. My concern is I don't know if this coaching staff cares enough to try and really do that, because that's going to require a lot of coaching on their end. If they know it's curtains, right? Okay, it's done. Maybe they've been notified. Maybe they just don't do it, which would make me sad, right? So, but please beat the Raiders. Oh my God, that's the one game. Please. I freaking hate them, dude. Like, I'm just done. So Kyle, last thoughts?
Well, by the way, by the end of it, I can really think that, especially if we lose this game, then Staley's gone. So, I mean, just like you're talking about with reps, then Staley's gone. Kellen Moore, someone steps up as interim head coach, give him some reps as head coach to kind of give him a taste of what it's like to head coach and to do this and that. There's no reason to keep Staley at that point at all. Like, what's the point? And so, like, as far as playoffs goes, I mean, like, look, there's a chance, but unlike the stripper Destiny that Andrew had in his hands, our destiny is not in the Chargers' hands. So a lot of things have to fall into place, and then we're not talking about lap dances. So So
I have a sneaky suspicion that wasn't her real name, Destiny. Pretty sure it wasn't.
Really? I don't know, man. Hey, you know what? There's a player. Fun fact about that. There's a player in the draft coming up this next year. His first name is Kool-Aid. So
Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yeah, he's a quarterback. Yeah, from Alabama.
So her name could be Destiny. I mean, people calling themselves after a freaking drink.
She liked the joke. You're gonna be my destiny. I'm sure she never heard that before. By the way, the rumor is that Carolina is going to be hiring more. Apparently, that's supposed to be a lock. Who knows? But
we'll see.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see how it goes. And you're right. Neither team wants to win, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
They're probably both like, all right, scrap it so we can get a better pick.
Yeah. Playing for draft position now.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Hey, if we lose this, then maybe we start talking coaches, all this other stuff. We'll see what happens this next week.
Exactly.
I think being fully out of playoff conversations, then we start really having some real discussions. So,
Yeah.
Let's get it.
All righty. Well, guys, we're the Bowl Pros. We will see you
Let's
guys in the next one.
Go FTR, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.